Good morning. It's time for Morning Oasis once again. Let's see, it's Thursday the 16th. I'm going to give you guys a minute to come in while I get ready. I hope you guys are all doing well today. It's a lot of energy is coming through today. A lot of energy. It's a big transition day today for Gaia. We can feel that. I've already had a few people contact me and ask me about it. It's really hard to come out of sleep state, come out of that communing state. Let's see. So today I had two special card pull requests, and that leaves us with one slot open for card pulls for anybody who'd like one. And I'll repeat that again as you guys come in this morning. I'm going to pull one for myself while I'm waiting. Yeah, so a part of what we're going to be working on today is bringing in both that divine masculine and divine feminine energy. And this is the card I pulled for myself, which is the fire suit and masculine and feminine energy. So it's definitely in the air today. So I guess I'll go ahead and just start. I had a card pull request from Sue this morning. Sue is possibly going to have to listen to this as a replay. Let's see which cards wanted to talk with Sue. The Thoth Tarot. They've been wanting to come out more lately, so let's see. Morning Stormy. Let's see. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I'm on live. Seems like it's not connecting very well. Stormy, are you getting a good, strong connection? I've been having a lot of problems with my connection lately with the internet. Probably part of this transitioning energy. Good morning. Okay, so this card pulls for Sue. And we have one more slot left open. Okay, good. Thank you. So Sue, we got the Death card. Now, last night, Sue and I were talking about her parents who both have passed, and she was receiving some messages from them. Usually when the Death card comes into Tarot, it's really about transition and change. It's about letting go of the old and transitioning into the new. How do we release all that was, this life that we had built, these beliefs that we had held, this system that we had constructed around us, and allow it to naturally die and release it from us. And part of her message from her parents was about releasing some things. So I think this is just a confirmation of what we were talking about last night and where you're at today, what you're going through, where you're working towards transitioning into. So that's a great confirmation card for you. Let's see. And then I've got Stormy. Do you want a card pull? Because I've got room for one more this morning. And it looks like it's just you and me right now, which is unusual but awesome, right? So it's up to you if you'd like one. And then I'll do the other pull that was the special request pull after that. And there's a delay, so I'll give you a second to see if you would like that. All right, cool. So, Stormy, let's see which ones want to talk to you. Ooh, Ganesh wants to talk to you. Oh, Andrea's there too. Hello, Andrea. Yeah, it's one of those days where I'm not committed to doing this each and every day. I might not have shown up today. It's one of those days, so I'm not at all surprised that we have a slow kind of coming to it morning. Good morning, Andrea. Yeah, I don't know. Are you guys feeling this energy coming through? Is this hitting you as hard as it was hitting me? Oh, Sue, I just pulled your card. You got the death card, by the way. Confirmation about what we talked about last night, about releasing and letting go. I already put the cards away, but that was the card that I pulled for you, was the death card from the Thoth deck. Okay. Interesting. So, Stormy, you got surrender. And surrender with the Ganesh energy is really, he had to surrender in order to be able to acclimate to this new head that he received, right? So when we are talking about allowance, it's really about surrendering our desire of what we want it to be, what we desire it to be, and allowing what it is to be. Yeah, good confirmation, right, Sue? So today is going to be a day of surrendering for you. I hope that goes smoothly. And remember, it is our resistance to the allowance that creates much of the pain and the suffering. The pain is a critical component. It's what teaches us. It's what gets us to move in the right direction that we wanted for ourselves. It's the most effective catalyst that we have in our physical creation. And it's the resistance to it that creates our suffering piece. So this is about surrendering. I'm having a lot of lung stuff going on too, you guys. I don't know about you guys, but today's one of those days where I'm just ooh, cough, cough, hack, hack, which I haven't had for a while. It's interesting to have that coming up today. So the special card pull that I had, it kind of ties into what I wanted to talk about. A lot of you guys have seen Jesse on here. He's become quite awakened over the course of watching this show. And last night he was channeling Gaia and gave some pretty interesting messages from her, some of which I'm going to share with you guys. And this morning, he won't be able to be here today, but he sent me a message requesting that I pull a card for Gaia to help get all of us focused in a common theme on supporting her. So I felt strongly that we would do the Dreams of Gaia Tarot for that pull by Raven Felon. Here's her deck. And I realized, you guys, that Messenger Oracle deck that I absolutely love is also by Raven Felon. So I didn't realize it was the same author. I love her work. Okay, so we're going to pull a card for her, and then we're going to talk about this Gaia energy and what's going on today. It's been really mighty this morning already. I can feel it. So what we got is the 8 of Earth. And I'm just going to read from the book because this one is such a great book. She does such a good job. Yeah, so success, wealth, love, growth, manifestation, accomplishment, abundance, appreciation. The 8 of Earth symbolizes success, the manifestation of positive attitude, and doing what you love, and loving what you do. 8, exactly. This is a very optimistic card. It suggests a time of abundance, fruitfulness, and a good harvest ahead. Which is funny because that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So what more could you ask for? All seeds born of past plantings are growing well. You can be confident that the outcome that you need will manifest. This can also be a good time to think about taking the next big leap rather than resting on your laurels. So Gaia is in the process right now of taking a really big leap, you guys. And it has a lot to do with our own harvest. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into it. We've talked before about the concept of planetary consciousness. We've talked about how our sun Our sun is our God, right? The consciousness of our sun in our solar system is what most people refer to as God or source. It's not the infinite consciousness, it's a finite piece of that infinite consciousness. It's its own distinguishing piece of that infinite. And we call it, like the raw consciousness calls it, the sub-logos. So what does that mean, right? So there's the infinite consciousness, which is the whole shebang, all of creation and every representation of it together collectively is that infinite consciousness, is that whole thing. Now, that whole thing started to define itself into pieces. And one of the pieces it defined itself into is logos, which means love. So there are also definitions or distinguishing pieces that are not love-oriented, that are not a part of that. Ours is a part of that. So that's why we have other densities, other expressions, other, negative polarities, whatever you want to call it, where that's what they work on. So what we are here working on is love. And our galaxy is the sub-logos of love. It's one of those expressions of love. And our supercluster of galaxies is love. That's the logos. I posted a little while ago, there was a beautiful image created by one of the research laboratories that studies superclusters of galaxies. And it shows our supercluster and how all of these galaxies are kind of moving into this direction, coming into this one point of attraction, and they call the whole supercluster Laniakea, I believe. So we're one of those galaxies in that big supercluster of logos. And so our Milky Way consciousness, this consciousness at the center of the Milky Way, which all of the Milky Way galaxy is wrapping around, is what we call the sub-logos. And then we have the sub-logos, which is our sun, right? So all the stars within the Milky Way galaxy are a consciousness, and their planetary bodies are their expression of their consciousness and where their consciousness is learning and growing from. So each planetary body is on its own course of development, growth, understanding, awareness. And so each of our planets has its own consciousness. So if you wanted to refer to it that way, it would be a sub-logos, right? So Gaia has its own consciousness, and she's in her own process of evolving, of growing, of shifting, and she's transitioning. She's transitioning from 4D into 5D, fourth density into fifth density consciousness. We're transitioning from third density expressions, fourth density consciousnesses, into fourth density expressions and fifth density consciousnesses. So we're kind of like one step behind her. Now, as she's transitioning and changing, that means also that the environment of her is shifting and changing. And that's one of the reasons so many of us are going through these physiological changes. We're feeling headaches. I mean, I could list them all, but I'm not going to. But in general, we're feeling things like headaches or tension in the body in areas where we have resistance, where we hold belief systems, where we struggle with allowance. We're having, a lot of us are having sinus congestion. That has a lot to do with our pineal glands coming into activation and shedding off all of the debris, not the debris, but that calcification that's been around the pineal gland. For a long time, they've been feeding us, giving us waters and foods, sending frequencies through the air that are designed to reduce the pineal gland's activity and to keep it small and to keep it inactive. And now the energies coming from Gaia as well as from our sun are activating all of that. That's my husband heading out to work. Have a good day. And so as they activate and they're shedding off all of that debris, it comes out in our sinuses. It can also come out in our ear canals. And a lot of times when we're having healing happening in our brain, in this cranial cavity, it releases the stuff that it's healing through our sinus passages and through these ear canals. Those are the exit points for that whole brain cavity. I remember when my husband, he had pretty significant brain trauma, and as a result of his mountaineering accident, which caused his loss of vision and his loss of sense of smell, and also created, a large region in his brain that had a hole in it, basically. And a few years after his accident, he ended up getting cerebral meningitis as a result of all the cracks and fractures in this frontal part of his cranium that they weren't able to seal all the way. They kind of pieced it together. This was all the way back in 2001. So in 2005, he ended up having, when he recovered from the meningitis, he had another surgery where they relined the inside of his cranial cavity with this material called new skin that was designed to seep into the bone and fuse into the bone and create a sealed barrier. But then, about 4 years ago, when I started training and practicing in earnest with a teacher in her program, actually, I take that back, 5 years ago, my husband was having seizures. And, the neurologist told us there was really nothing that she could do. All we could do was figure out what were the brain pathways that were being activated and try to reroute them. Try to reroute his thinking, reroute his experiential processing that was making him go down those routes. So we turned to energy work, right? And I was new training. I had no idea what I was capable of. I had no idea what energy work was really capable of. And my teacher did a session on him. She did 2 sessions, I believe, and I did 2 sessions on him. He hasn't had a seizure since, and that was almost 5 years ago. This summer it will be 5 years ago. However, he had this thick substance coming out of his ears. It got so thick that he couldn't hear. It completely clogged his ear canals. And we had to go to the doctor, and they had to use hot water and scrape out this substance that was in his ears, this wax, that was so thick that they were shocked. They'd never seen really anything quite like it, and both ears were plugged that way. After they cleared it out, completely flushed and cleared his entire cavity out, he never had it happen again, where he was kind of struggling with that for a little while. So that was really the brain kind of releasing all of that stuff, and the easiest way it had, because this whole area was shut down, was through the ear canal. And since then, he hasn't had any problems with it. He used to always get like swimmer's ear in the shower, and just really struggle with all of that. And it's been completely clear ever since. So I'm telling you that story to kind of confirm this. This is an exit point as well. So if I know one of my friend's daughters is having problems with ear infections, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it when we were first looking at it. This is really, I think, what is going on with that, which I'll remember to tell her. And if I forget, can you remind me, Michelle? Because I know you're in here too. So we're going to go back to Gaia. So Gaia is changing and transitioning. She's transitioning into a 5D expression. What does that mean for us? Well, that means that we have a choice. Each one of us has a choice. We can either own our part, our role, what we are here to be. We can own that we too are transitioning and make it an intention and a focus to be in communion and in work with Gaia. Or we can resist that And by resisting that, our bodies just don't transition. Just like when we're doing healing work on ourselves, the parts that we can't heal are the parts that are showing our own resistance. So today, what we're going to ultimately be doing, and the meditation is going to be about, is really taking that energy that we pull from Gaia and sending it down into her, and that energy that we're taking from our sun, from our sub-lagos, or our God, or soul, or whatever you want to call it. We're also going to be drawing off of the the Gog energy, which is the God of God in the Bible. There's Gog and Magog. And those are the sub-lagos and the lagos, right? So the galaxy is our Gog, or our sub-lagos, and the supercluster Laniakea, which we call it now, is our Lagos, our Magog. So we're going to use this energy of these things, and we're going to be bringing into Gaia, not just to stay in tune with her, to stay in connection with her, so that we can ride forward in this wave and stay present and in this creation and not be released, so we can come through the harvest as individuations and move forward and not be released into another place to continue learning the 3D expression. There are a lot of people who are going to be learning that 3D expression in another place. As far as I understand, there's no more planetary bodies left working the 3D expression in our sub-lagos, so they're going to have to go to another one. And for the rest of us, those of us who have made this practice and dedication and devotion, are going to continue on. This is my understanding of it. This is why some of us are having these visions and having feelings and sensations, or the concepts coming to us of massive planetary die-offs, or massive planetary changes and transitions. It's another reason also why some of us are not getting too upset about or fearful about what's actually happening, what the current events are, because those are that natural process of things kind of dying off. So that's kind of what today is about. Quantum manifestation, Paul? Yeah, exactly. So what I was hoping for today is that as we come together, we're going to all be putting our efforts together as a unified whole as much as we can. So if you're watching this as a replay, you're watching this as a recording, that does not mean you cannot project your consciousness into this time, into this space where we are collectively working. Because remember, time is purely a concept by which we understand the creation. This time right now is right now for you. So we're going to release the concept that we have to be present. We have to be in this space and time at this moment when it was originally happening live, and allow for ourselves to be present in all time, in all space, as Gaia is transitioning. Okay? So that's where we're at. If anybody has any questions or comments about that, go ahead and throw that out. And otherwise, we'll jump into the meditation. We'll have a good half-hour long chunk to do this work. I want you to also expect that there's going to be less guided and more times of allowance in this meditation. So you might be hearing some noises and distractions around me. Recognize these are a part of the cues as well, part of the guidance. I keep getting this cue to look out my window, which it's funny because since I've transitioned to the iPad, I don't look out the window as much, because it used to be that my phone was what I would use and it was right over the window. So it's kind of interesting. And I'm looking out right now and I'm seeing clouds in the shape of a dolphin, in the shape of a dog, and in the shape of a bird. And there's a hummingbird in the tree. So we have Gaia present. We're all ready for this. So I want you guys to go ahead and take a few moments to get comfortable and get ready. This is going to be a longer meditation today. And I'm going to take a sip of my coffee, and I'm going to get comfortable and get ready. And I see We have some more joiners coming in. So today we're going to release the concept of healing ourselves, and we're going to focus our energy on healing Gaia and transitioning with her. We want to stay on the boat. We want to be in the boat of Gaia, okay? Yeah, like the tea leaves, exactly. All right, so go ahead and make sure your body is comfortable because we want to go deep today. Make sure that no limbs are crossed, your circuitry is open and clear. If you need to take a sip of water or coffee, do so now. And we're going to take a few deep breaths, breathing in, present moment, present awareness. And exhaling. Breathing in, present moment. Smelling the air, feeling the temperature of it as it comes into the body, bringing it all the way down. And exhaling, releasing. Breathing all the way into the roots, just like you're breathing from your seat, from your root chakra. Breathing in. And exhaling, releasing. Exhaling from the root, out the crown as well. Breathing in this present moment, present awareness, and begin to take note of all the little distractions and the things that are around you in your mind that you have to do today, that you have to accomplish, and just unhook yourself from those distractions. Just release them, and as you exhale, release those hooks. Breathing in, drawing those lines of connection back into the self, back into the whole. And exhaling. Unhooking anything left in the rest of today, tomorrow, fears or anxieties. Breathing in, present moment. And taking account of all the things that are behind us, this past, these things that happened yesterday, already happened this morning. We're going to exhale and unhook from those. Breathing in, drawing in those lines of connection, adjusting the body as we start feeling the tension releasing from these various points of our life. We're going to exhale, releasing even more from the rest of today, from yesterday, from the people that are our responsibilities. Just unhooking and coming into the self. Breathing in, present moment. And as we exhale, we're going to unhook ourselves from the expectations that we hold of ourselves in this moment, in this day. Just releasing from all these little anchors that pull us out of this time, of this moment, this time space. We're going to begin growing our roots down, breathing in and sending those roots down from our root, from our feet, from our seat. If you're laying, from everywhere in your body that you feel drawn to. And exhaling, we're going to send them deeper and wider. Breathing in. Making them thicker and richer. sending them wider and deeper. If you need to adjust the body, do so. Releasing that tension. We're going to take a taproot from each of our feet and send that root all the way down into the center of the earth, all the way into the heart of Gaia. While our roots at the surface continue to widen and deepen. And just like if we were a mother taking a babe's temperature, we're going to take that temperature of Gaia, not of her actual temperature, but of where she's at. What does she need right now? Where is she at in her transition? We're going to effortlessly and gracefully allow our bodies to take and register this information. Don't try to hold it or interpret it or understand it, because you're not a planetary body. You're just serving as a scratch pad, a note, the lab notes. We're going to allow the waters of our body to record this information as we send those taproots deeper through Gaia and continue them through, all the way through to the sun, to our sub-lagos, to our source, to our God, whatever you call it. Grounding Gaia into source. Continuing that grounding connection, those taproots, while they kind of twine, just like DNA, twining and continuing into the spiral and the arc of the Milky Way, going all the way into that center consciousness of the Milky Way, the sub-lagos, the Gog, the God of gods, the source of source, whatever you call it. Feeling that arcing spiral as we drop into that point of singularity. We're going to continue through that point of singularity into that greater Lanakia, that super cluster, that massive mother galaxy, mother of all galaxies that we're a part of, into her point of attraction. We're down here. We're going to ride her line up into that point of wholeness, the Lagos, the whole source of love. The love creation. If you're noticing any aches or pains in the arm, in the legs, or where your roots are coming out of, take just note of it. Thank the body for showing us resistance, fear, lack of value, lack of a sense of I am worthy, I am not. All of these things that are stored in these spaces. Thank the body and recognize we are a part of this whole infinite creation. Of course we're worthy. Of course, this is what we're here to do. Continue that connection from the Lagos, from the Lanikia, from our supercluster, its point of attraction, all the way through into the full infinite creation that is unbounded, unlimited, that is true abundance, that is all things, infinite creation consciousness, infinite consciousness. Tap into that infinite consciousness. And as we go in through that infinite consciousness, we're going to follow out the other side of it, as though we've come to the point of wholeness, of oneness with the Logos, oneness with the infinite. All things in perfect balance and harmony. And we're going to follow the individuation as that infinite consciousness divides itself into these pieces. We're following love, the vibrational frequency of love. And then we're going to follow it again until it divides into our galaxy, the Milky Way. Bringing that love frequency back with us. Following it back through our sun, our soul, our source. Bringing it back, all the way back into Gaia. All the way back into our individuation from Gaia. Your self-consciousness. So that tension in the abdomen area, remember and recognize this is that ego state asking, but who am I in all of this? Allow it to be. You are you. Perfect and in alignment. Bringing that consciousness energy of all of that Logos from the infinite creation through the crown, down through the vessel. I know it feels like a lot of energy, but you can handle it. This is why you've been upgrading and transitioning and changing and growing and doing all of this work. We're going to bring that energy down through our vessel, washing away as it comes and releasing all that makes us feel less than, all that leaves us in a state of less than, of minimization, of maximization, of inflation, right? Just allowing the harmony to play through us. This is why we harmonized our chakras yesterday. Bringing it down through the vessel, down through the seat, down through our legs, and sending it out through our root structure. I want you guys to imagine that you have these radiating open chakras in your palms, in each of your fingers, in every cell of your body. And we're going to aim all of this energy coming from the infinite through the Logos, through the sub-Logos, through us, through the sub-sub-Logos, all the way through us. And we're going to send it down into Gaia with a single purpose of amplifying our energies together and giving Gaia all she needs to support this transition, just as though we were holding onto the back of a great big whale as it dives deep into itself, into its ocean. and we just support it. I'm going to release the guidance piece for a time and allow you all to flow this energy from your hands, from your feet, from every cell of your body down into Gaia. We're going to also send in our gratitude for her carrying us as this amazing Mother Earth through the space, through the solar system. Just grateful for her, for providing us this playground with which we were allowed to grow and develop and die and birth and grow and develop and die within. Deepening our gratitude for her providing us this space. As we do so, I want you to start to recognize how the body is already shifting into this deep, deep relaxation state. Notice how Gaia is beginning to send a different frequency up through your body. This is an attunement into her new vibration. Allow this attunement to come up through the body, cell by cell, coming through the spaces between the cells. And allow the body to release its concept of what it is and transition into what it is becoming. Allow the DNA to go into an open rewriting process as we transition. Not forcing, just allowing, in that great submission. I want you to visualize coming from that infinite creation through that supercluster, through our galaxy, through our sun, a beam of green, glowing energy coming all the way through us. This green healing energy and going down into Gaia. And just as though we're a bunch of receivers and transponders, we're going to amplify this energy as much as our vessels allow and send that light of green energy down into the heart of Gaia so that she is radiating with this green light throughout all of her body. Remembering to breathe. Taking 3 really big, deep breaths as we upgrade into this next level of energy. We've gone pretty far out there, so we're going to start coming back into our consciousness. Start pulling ourselves back into ourselves. Feeling the grounded connection continuing, but coming into the individuation that is ourselves. Coming back into the body, maybe moving and adjusting pieces of the body. I don't normally guide you guys to come back, but today I'm going to. Coming back into the whole self, back into the vessel. Coming back into present time. Coming back into this morning, or if you're somewhere on the other side of the world this evening. It's 10:54 a.m. on the Pacific coast of North America. Where are you? Today is Thursday the 16th. I'm going to come fully present, come back into the here, into the now. That was so awesome, you guys. Over this next few days, weeks, over this coming future, take time in your meditations each day to connect into Gaia in this way. It doesn't have to be quite so long, but take the time. It will help you in easing your symptoms of ascension, your symptoms of transition. It'll help Gaia, and we'll help each other in this way. I love you all. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing this work with me. It's an honor to walk with you all.